We are live. Hello, hello, hello. Maybe this is working.
What's up in all the places that's not Facebook?
There we go. We always have to wait for Facebook to realize that we're live and things are going. So, this week, well, first off, people, we keep telling you that we're going to be here every Tuesday at 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And as you can see, it is not 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So here's the skinny, the tea, the stuff. We will not be here next week because I'm teaching a business foundation workshop next week at the same time we're supposed to be here. We are also moving the time from 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time to 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and we are going to try to be more consistent, but also life happens, so good luck to all of us. It's fine.
This time it's because of school. And let me tell you, I'm pretty darn excited that it's time for the kids to go to school.
You know, so I've been homeschooling and I'm sending my kids back for the first time in several years, and I'm a little excited. Like, I'm a little nervous. It's a little different, but I'm a little excited because kids interrupt you when you're working.
No,
more than you think they do.
No. Did I ever tell you my homeschool story?
Mm-mm.
So when my first was a small child, I knew that I was going to be the greatest mom ever. And I love how you're laughing. I love how you're laughing.
Because it's all of us.
Yeah, greatest mom ever. I was going to do all the homeschooling, all of the baking, all of the parties, right? And so when she got to be about 3, I'm like, okay, it's time to start preschool. We need to, and this is not me just being a mom that all moms say this. Like, my oldest is a legit genius. So 3 years old, and we're like, okay, we need to start preschool. We need to start developing these skills, all the things. So we sat down at the kitchen table and we homeschooled for 30 minutes. And that was the last time we ever homeschooled.
Dude, it's a lot.
Well, we're too much alike. If you know me well, put that in a 3-year-old with no filters at all. Like, no filters, not even a tiny filter, who speaks her mind like 10x. And we don't work well together because we're just so passionate. So yeah, it was 30 minutes and I knew that I was wrong. Not for everyone.
I never wanted to homeschool. It was accidental. But it was really fun, and we had a good time, and we got to spend like months traveling, and it was good. And now we are going back to school because 1, my kids want to, and 2, we're doing big different things in my business, and then we're buying another business, and it's just,
it's funny. When you told me about the new business, I'm like, what the hell are you gonna do with your kids? But that makes sense. They're going to school.
They're going to school, which is why we thought we could do it. Yeah, they're going to school, except for my 3-year-old, because we tried to put him in preschool, and they were like, oh, he is too smart, literally, because the preschool here, they only have so many classes. Like, they only have 1 teacher, so they can only take so many classes, and so they test them, and they have to test below a certain level to get into preschool. So they're trying to make sure kids are ready for kindergarten, and they were like, yeah, right.
So I legit thought, because you live in a pretty small town, right? Yeah. I knew that you were going to say that the preschool follows you on social media and said, sorry, he's too much.
They're like, we don't take your kind here. That would not have been a shock, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe that's what really happened, and they just pretended that he tested over.
That's a much better story. So what are you going to do with him?
Oh, we have like a part-time daycare that my friend runs, my husband's friend runs, and he really loves them. So we're going to send him there for some of the time because he is unhinged.
He's too much.
He is, and he needs other people, and he needs to run and scream and be louder than he's allowed to be in my house. So we're sending him to, he says he's going to go play with friends, which is really daycare, because all his friends are there, and he really loves it. So
good.
That's what we're doing, so we all can survive. It's going to be good.
Yeah. So this is a great example of how life really is when you're a mom or a dad and you're trying to run your business from home, summer sucks. Homeschooling, well, I mean, I say it sucks, but there are so many people who love to homeschool while running their business. It's so much easier for them. I ain't one of those people, that's for sure.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. That is okay. My friend Lynette, you know Lynette, right?
Yes.
Lynette Williams. She is a master at homeschooling. Like, she is so good at it, and her, like, it works perfectly with her family and her business. We are very different. We are oil and water.
Well, and I think sometimes things are good for a minute and it works in that season, and then you got to change things because it's business and it's life and things are different sometimes, and it's fine.
Right? Yeah. Well, I think that this story on the preschool following you on social media fits well in today's topic. So that's why I knew that's why I said sorry about you.
Which is today's topic is social media, guys. How to set up your social media, how to grow your following, how to use social media well for you. So, JKN, why don't you tell us what you learned? Why don't you start us on what you learned?
You always make me start off.
I know, because I'm the worst.
Okay. All right. So real talk. And I did the entire course, segment, week, whatever you want to call it. I did all 4 of the things. And I've been working on social media a really long time. So I am probably a good example of all of what not to do. And, this is my journey and all of the things, but a terrible, terrible, terrible example of somebody that you should look to, like maybe in your 3 to 5 year goals. Not if you are trying to figure social media out right now, I am not the person that you want to model your life after, because I show up everywhere. I've not figured it out. I'm still figuring it out. Let's be honest. But I at least have figured out how to be in a lot of places on most of the platforms, not super well, because I've taken a step back from social media. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
But that is one thing that I do want to say. If you go look me up and you find me in whatever places, do not think that, oh my gosh, she knows what she's talking about, or I need to do all the things she's doing, because it's taken me years to get to this, to get to be in all the places. So that is one thing that I like to tell people all the time. Years, absolute years to figure out. Not much.
I learned too that I wrote the thing about social media. I wrote the class that we all took, but there's a lot of things that I'm not doing. There's a lot of social media is hard, and it's really, really time consuming. And so I'm not I haven't been really following a funnel sequence, like a system on my social media. I am just hey, I randomly have something to post and I post it. Or I'm only trying to sell things all the time. Those are the only times I post, is when I have something that we're trying to push really hard. And I need to kind of pull things back and look at it from a higher level and be like, why would people follow us? Where are they getting business tips? What does this look like? How is there benefits just from being on our page? That kind of stuff, because it's getting a little muddy. I think
I disagree with you. On your social media, and specifically I'm talking about Facebook. I'm not I probably follow you in all those other places, but I don't really watch you. I might watch a TikTok every now and then because you're freaking hilarious. And you do a really, really good job of editing your TikTok so that it keeps people in your TikTok the whole time. And that could be a whole nother conversation that we have. But I think that you guys, and I know you have a social media manager, and you do a lot of the posting as well. And you guys do a fantastic job of creating community. You do a fantastic job of behind the scenes, which I think is what a lot of people really gravitate towards, especially in this field where, you're a business educator. You're trying to show people how to build their business, and they want to know what the F is going on behind the scenes, and that your toddler, it's not really a toddler. I guess he is still a toddler.
Yeah, he's still 3. So
that he's Batman and all the crazy shit that he says and all the things. So I think that Facebook especially, I think that you're doing a fantastic job. I thought about this last night while I was going through the courses. I talk about how people can pay me quite a bit. I mean, if you've been following me for a long time. So one of my favorite things to say, which I've pulled back on a little bit in the last 6 months or so, is buy my shit. I want people to feel comfortable, right? Telling people or asking people to buy their shit. But I don't do a ton of the behind the scenes stuff. Like I complain about my kids, but it's not consistent. And I think that you guys do that really well.
I think it's better on my personal page. If I could pull some of my personal page into my business page, I think that would help a little bit more. And I think our group is good. I think that my social media manager is doing a really good job in the group. Like she is so good at asking for wins and having people set goals and then reminding them what their goals are. I think that that's fantastic. I am not on TikTok very much anymore at all. So I'm not posting those videos I don't think I posted in like 2 months because it's just like it's time consuming. And I also feel like a little scattered with it. Like just to be real, I feel like a little scattered with the social media and where we're supposed to be. And so I do need to pull it back. I did just not pull the social, like I need to take a step back so I can get more of like an overview of exactly what this should look like and instead of making it up as we go.
Well, I do think that one thing that you mentioned is you got to have an actual strategy. Posting, not a strategy. And, and you did a really great job of talking about where are your zebras, like where is your watering hole, all of the things. And one very simple thing to think about when you're thinking about your social media strategy is what's my ultimate goal here? Am I trying to create community? Am I trying to jack up my SEO results? Am I using social media as a prospecting tool? Like that's my main thing. Am I just looking for people to connect with? That needs to be the first thing that you ask, because depending on that answer is where you need to put your focus. If you're trying to do all the SEO things, you don't want to spend all your time on Facebook.
Yeah. No, I agree. And there's things you can do with Facebook or with all of the platforms to help with the SEO thing. But yeah, you don't need to spend all your life there if that's your goal. And ours has kind of been lights on for a minute, which is so there's a bunch of options, guys. We don't have a social media presence, and PS, you can run a successful business, $1 million business, without being on social media. Businesses existed before social media. I don't know if any of you knew that, but like successful businesses existed before social media. So you can say
500 companies were around before
Facebook. right? So you 100% can say we're not even going to be on social media because that's not the business we're running. You can do a lights on kind of situation where people just know that you exist, and that's about it. You can do a prospecting situation where you're sending people into your email list, getting leads, or you can run your business entirely on social media, which means they're ordering from there. They have to go through social media to shop. Everything depends on social media. And we've kind of been doing lights on for a while. Our email list is 5 times bigger than any of our social media followings.
Okay, I have to stop you. I don't care what platform that you're on, friends. You need to be sure that you have a strategy to take people from your platform to your email list. And I know you've all heard this because business coaches say it every single day, all the freaking time. You could lose your social media platform at any time. It can be taken away from you. Facebook could decide that you talked about ants and they don't like that. And so you're banned and you lose all access to your people. Make sure you're putting together a strategy so that you are collecting email addresses from those platforms.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's super important. Some people choose not to do it. That's the number 4. Everything's on social media. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think you should be gathering emails. And again, our email list is 5 times bigger than any of our social media following. Emails also have an average of a 30% open rate, whereas your social media is like a 3% engagement rate. That's 10 times more engagement in emails. So that's kind of been our strategy. But I think that going into 2025, into next year, we really can amp up our social media because there's lots to pull from social media. There's lots to do there. It's just also a lot. It's also a lot of work.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this a couple of times. I've been implementing this 2-hour-a-day marketing plan 2-hour-a-day marketing plan. One, I quit being consistent on August 1st, so I can see the negative results that have come from that. But it's leaning pretty heavily into shorts, so short form videos, TikTok, YouTube. Yes, Instagram maybe, but I don't hate. I'm staying away from Instagram right now because I'm burnt out. I only consume Instagram. I only consume content on Instagram because I haven't seen any real results on it. But this strategy is exhausting because it's like posting 3 times a day on 3 shorts a day. That's a lot of content to create.
Yep.
So if that's a strategy that you are looking for, and I like it because you turn around and you put that stuff on YouTube too, and it helps your SEO. And I know I've said this multiple times. If it's SEO related, I'm all in. But if that's the strategy that you want to follow, it makes it hard to keep up. If you don't have things already in place, it makes it hard to keep up with like Facebook groups or whatever else you're doing. So I don't remember what my point was, but there we go.
Oh, it's just hard. Managing all the stuff. That's kind of what we're talking about. And you're talking about how you have the 2-hour a day marketing plan.
Yeah, that's what I use to create that content. And then like there's a million ways to $1 million. So maybe you're somebody who's going to batch content for the whole week or a whole month in that time frame. Cool. I cannot. I can't. For whatever reason, I want to be one of my, I don't know, I don't know what to call it, but like I want to be real and authentic with people every single day and tell them the way that I provide the most value in my social media is this is how I feel today, or this is a problem that I fixed yesterday. So I use that 2.5 hours to create content for no more than a couple days out.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for a lot of people. Like you mentioned in your course that you super batch your content because you don't want to be camera ready very much. Yeah. Like I love people that just show up and they don't spend all of the time. Like they don't feel like they have to be camera ready. They're always camera ready. They're always ready like spam.
Like spam. And I gotta say, sometimes the super batch doing everything, and I'll do like 30 videos in a day, 30 or 40, and then the next day I edit them all and etc. Sometimes that works really well for me. But the reason I haven't posted on TikTok in 2 months is because I haven't had a day to do a whole day of it. Right. And so I just haven't had the stuff. And so that's part of the downfall is I think sometimes we have to figure out the in between where it's like 2 hours of marketing a day, or I'm going to spend a whole day doing all of it because it is a lot. I think the first place to start for everyone is to decide how you're going to use social media in your business. And so you can figure out what's next.
And what you can maintain. What is sustainable for you? Like, can you spend a whole day creating videos? I can't. I get bored. And like I said, I don't know what I can't even think about what I would talk about. Can you spend a couple hours a day creating content? Do you need to do video one day? And do you need to do do you need to do your posts on another day and all of the things? Like you have to figure out what's going to not let you get burnt out, because if you go 30, 60 days in and you get tired, you're never going to see results.
Yeah, I agree. And having a real strategy. This is not just posting willy-nilly, which is kind of what I do sometimes, but really knowing we're leading everyone to a certain goal. And that means at the end of every video, it's the same call to action. At the end of every video, you're asking for the same thing. You're moving everyone towards something. And sitting down and planning your social media strategy takes some time. It takes some time, but it's 100% worth it. We're talking about that at the retreat in October. Is one of the things that we're going to do is really flesh out a good social media strategy and map out this is exactly what's happening. And this is what I posted. This is what it looks like. So social media can feel less chaotic, because it can feel insanely chaotic.
Especially because it's social media, right? And we're comparing ourselves to what everybody else is putting on social media, which is not the full picture. So million ways to make $1 million. You need to figure out what works for you, the message that you want to put out, how you want to show up, and forget what everybody else is doing or says that you should do.
I agree.
I think once you accept that, it's so much easier.
Yes. Yes, I totally agree. Figuring out what you need to do, who you are, what this looks like, what social media is going to look like in your business, because you don't have to do it like everybody else. And honestly, you shouldn't do it exactly like everybody else. You got to figure out what you can do and what your brand is too. Because if your brand is about fun and humor and, I don't know, sarcasm or something, you're going to have a way different social media than somebody who is all about good feelings and unicorns and puppy dogs, because those aren't the same. So really, I guess that's my final advice, is to sit down and figure out, one, what your purpose is on social media, and two, make sure you really know what your brand is. So go back to the branding ones if you need that, so you know how you're showing up on social media and you're creating your own space there. All right, JK, what are your final thoughts, I think is what you say.
No, that's some good stuff. I really want to drive. It's hard, right? Not to compare what you have going on to what other people are doing on social media. And I really truly think that once you let go of all the other stuff, like stop trying to do all the things that everybody else is doing and just do you, it makes it so much easier to stay consistent and to see results.
I agree. All right, guys, we are not going to be here next week. We're going to be here the week after that. And we're talking about websites a little bit. But I will be teaching the Business Foundation Workshop next week instead. So if you haven't signed up for the Business Foundation Workshop, please make sure you do that. It is just, if you head to our launchdacademy.com, it's right there. Workshop. It's a free workshop. Everybody make sure you come. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Please reach out if you need anything at all. Bye, guys.
See ya.